Hello students, today we are here to discuss the first chapter of our 12th class Flamingo book. Ironically, the first chapter is titled The Last Lesson. Now, as the title indicates, the title is a very simple one. It could mean the last lesson of any subject, but then it talks about various complex themes. And the first theme that the chapter talks about is linguistic chauvinism. It is about the superiority complex that you have about your own language. There's nothing wrong with it, but the thing that is wrong is that when you start thinking about other languages as inferior. And then this chapter also talks about another theme, and that is the act of delaying things for the next day, the act of dilly-dallying, and that is the act of procrastination. This is also one of the major themes. We would discuss the themes in detail, but let us first sum up the chapter. The chapter, The Last Lesson, it has been written by Alphonse Daudet, and it is set up, the background is of the Franco-Prussian War that took place in the year 1870-71, and in this war, Prussia, led by Bismarck, defeated France, and Prussia was then, what now consists of the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. And Prussia defeated France, and then they tried to control not only the territory of France, but they tried to control their minds, they tried to control their hearts also, of the people of France, the Frenchmen. And this chapter, the story is narrated by a little boy, Franz, and he's a school-going boy. But on that particular day, when he starts with the story, he doesn't feel like going to school. Like any other normal child, he wanted to spend the day outside. He was so much, the weather was so good. He wanted to hear the birds chirping. He wanted to see the Prussians drilling. Everything was so exciting. Then the dull rules of participles, which his French teacher, Mr. M. Hamel, had asked him to revise, and he didn't even know the P of the participles. He had revised nothing at all. So he wanted to spend the day outside, but then he was strong enough. He resisted the temptation, and he started marching towards school. And on the way, he passed by the town hall, and in the town hall, there was a bulletin board. And for the last 2 years, because of the war, only bad news had been coming from that bulletin board. So he went there, and he was surprised to see there was so much of rush. So he just wondered, what the news on that particular day could be. And there was a person who told him he didn't have to worry. There was old washer who told him he didn't have to worry. The blacksmith, he told him he didn't have to worry because there was plenty of time to reach school. And Franz actually wondered, why was this person taunting him? Was he making fun of him? As it is, he was already so late for school. So he was just wondering, why did that person mentioned that there was plenty of time left. Nevertheless, he marched towards his school, and when he reached his school, when he was near the playground, usually on normal working days there was so much of hustle and bustle. The desks were being closed and open, and then the teacher would wrap his ruler on the table. There was so much of commotion. But that day, it was quite strange, and it was very different, because a very unusual day, because everything was so quiet, just like as it used to be on Sunday mornings. So he wondered what the reason could be, and he had actually counted on that commotion, on that noise. He had felt that because he was late, and because of the noise, people would not notice him, and he would quietly sneak into his classroom without the teacher noticing him. But now he was so afraid. There was so much of quietness. Everything was so still. So he wondered that he would naturally be scolded by his teacher a lot. So he went inside, but quite strangely, the teacher M. Hamel didn't scold him, and he said, "Franz, get inside. We were about to begin without you." So he entered, and he literally jumped into his seat. And it was not till then, he was so much frightened. He felt so much embarrassed. Not till then that he realized that his teacher that day, Mr. M. Hamel, was wearing his best Sunday clothes, the clothes that he used to wear on inspection days, on prize days. He was wearing a silken hat, an embroidered, a green coat, then a frill shirt. These clothes he normally used to wear on special days. And what was the occasion that day, Franz was wondering. And he was just sitting and thinking about that the teacher announced M. Hamel. He mounted on the table, and he announced announced that day that this is going to be your last French lesson. Now, the moment he heard these words were like a thunderclap on him. It was as if, like, lightning had struck him. Why? What could be the reason? They had been defeated. Now he the things got into his mind that this was the thing that had been put up on that bulletin board that day. So those people, the Germans, they had not only snatched their territory from them, they had snatched their language also. The teacher announced that from the next day onwards they would be taught only German, and they would no longer be able to learn their own mother tongue. So he felt so bad, he felt so emotional, and he realized that day the classroom was full of people. There were old watchmen, there were so many people who had gathered to attend the last lecture. The last benches who normally used to remain unoccupied, vacant, they were full of people. Everybody had come there to pay their tribute to their motherland, which was no longer theirs, and the language which was snatched away from them. And also they wanted to give tribute to their teacher, Mr. M. Hemmel, who had spent 40 years of selfless service. He had given 40 years of selfless service to this particular institution. So M. Hemmel was there, and he asked Franz to come forward and recite those rules of participles which he was supposed to learn. He came there, he went there, and he wanted to speak out those rules without a fumble. He wanted, and he felt that he could have given everything to speak those rules of participles flawlessly. But the moment he went there, because he had not revised anything, so he fumbled at the very first letter. But the teacher did not scold him. The teacher said that this is the thing that we keep on, this is the thing with Frenchmen, this is the thing with France, that people keep on postponing things. This is procrastination, that we keep on delaying the acts, we keep on postponing the things till tomorrow. But as it is, everybody knows tomorrow never comes. Now the teacher said, now what would those Germans say to you? Like, you call yourself French, but you don't even know the F of your language. Then you don't even know how to read your language. You don't even know how to write your language. And he says we all have something to reproach ourselves with. It is not only your fault. It is the fault of your parents also. It is my fault also. You people had been postponing things. The opportunity was there with you. It was right in front of you, but you didn't use that opportunity. You kept on delaying things. You didn't try to learn your own mother tongue because you felt there's plenty of time, we can learn it any time. This is the thing with each and everyone, with the children. You are the children of board class, you feel there is plenty of time, there's ample time, we would revise our things towards the end. We have so much of time, but then you keep on postponing things till tomorrow. But as we've discussed it, tomorrow never comes. Now their language is snatched away from them. They would get no opportunity to learn their language now. They would have to learn German now. He said that your parents are at fault because they would send you to work instead of sending you to school to learn language. And he said, I also am at fault because some days when I wanted to go fishing, I would give you a day off. Some days I would just send you to water my plants. So everybody is at fault here, but we cannot mend our ways now. The thing that is gone is gone. It is not going to come back to us. But he wanted to instill this thing in the minds of all the students, the people who had gathered there, that they have to get hold over their language. They have to safeguard their language. And he talked about French language, and he said this is the most beautiful language in the world. This is the most logical language in the world. This is the most clear language that we have in the world. And he said this thing, a very important line, students. He said this, that as long as you have a hold on your language, it is as if you have a key to the prison. Because if you have a hold on your language, then you remain united, and then you can break those chains of slavery. And he gave the last lesson, and that last lesson was so wonderful, it was so magnificent, it was so splendid that Franz for the first time realized that he understood each and every word what the teacher was saying. He understood everything, so it was so simple. And maybe he felt that it was his fault, that he had never paid attention to his mother tongue, he had never paid attention to French till that point of time. If he had had he paid attention to the language, he would have acquired it by now, he would have learned it by now. But what is the point now? The teacher had brought in so many beautiful notebooks for them, and he had written that the two districts of France, the Alsace and Lorraine. This chapter is about these particular two districts which have been conquered by Germany, and in these two districts the order had come that no more French teaching would be there. They would only be teaching of German. And the teacher had brought in notebooks for the students, for the children, and on these notebooks he had so beautifully written Alsace, Lorraine, and he distributed those notebooks to each and every one of them, and everybody was trying. There was old Hauser who had brought in a primer, the basic book of language of alphabets. He had brought in that, and he was weeping. It was placed on his lap, and it was the corners where the edges were turned in, and he was weeping because he didn't know how to read his own mother tongue. And everybody was so emotional. And look at the you can just imagine the condition of Mr. M. Hemmel, who had spent 40 years for this school, for this institution, for this country, and now he had to leave the country the next day, and his sister was packing the trunks upstairs, and he was delivering his last lesson. And while the last lesson, and then while they were studying, while they had a lesson of on writing, they had a lesson on grammar. While they were doing so, there were pigeons who came into the classroom, and the pigeons naturally they cooed, and Franz wondered, would the Germans, this is also very important, he felt, would the Germans make those pigeons sing in German? Would they do that? Are they capable of doing that? Now, this sentence has a very in-depth meaning. So he just wants to stress upon this point. What Franz wants to stress upon here is that your language is just like cooing is innate to pigeons. Similarly, your language is innate to them. Nobody innate to you. Nobody can snatch away your language from you. It is your mother tongue. You acquire it. You don't actually learn it, but you acquire it yourself. So would they be able to actually snatch away their mother tongue from them? So this is what he's thinking about at that particular time. And when the chapter is about, when the teacher is done up with all these things, he gets up, and on board with on the board he writes very boldly, in bold letters he writes, "Vive la France." That means long live France. And he wants to say so many things, and he wants to give them, it was as if he wanted to impart all the knowledge that he had about French language into those children, into those people in one stroke. But that lesson had to come to an end, and before end he wanted to say some words, but he felt so emotional that his throat choked. He couldn't utter any words. He just, with a gesture, he just said, With a gesture, he just indicated that the class is dismissed. Okay, so this is about this chapter, the last lesson of French for Frenchmen, the last lesson of their mother tongue for the French people. So the themes that we discussed in the beginning, we talked about in the beginning, we mentioned in the beginning, were linguistic chauvinism. So the Germans had this linguistic chauvinism then. They wanted to acquire, they wanted to control the minds and hearts of the people of France through their language. They felt that if they would they felt that their language was much superior, to French, and they wanted to take away the right of the French people to learn their language. And this chapter also talks about another theme, that is procrastination. And what is that? The act of delaying thing. So it is very important, students, that till the time you have the opportunities with you, you should make and you must make the best use of them. You should not delay things for tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. So I hope that you like this video. So this is all about this chapter, the last lesson.